Hello, my name is Mary Decatur, and I am an application specialist here with X-Rite Incorporated. I work in our imaging and media team, and today I'm here to introduce you to our i1Studio product. And on that note, let's go ahead and take a look. i1Studio now offers a new feature within the printer profiling workflow that's custom to black and white prints. Black and white print is a brand new technology that i1Studio is offering, which is specifically engineered to get the best results for your black and whites, especially in the highlight and shadow details. One thing that you're going to notice when you go into the black and white workflow that some people may find confusing is that your first test chart that you're going to be printing out is almost all going to consist of one page of color patches. This is normal. What's going to happen is you're going to measure this data in. Based on this information, you are then going to print out your second test chart, which is going to be 2 pages, which will consist of mainly neutrals, grays, and blacks. All of this data combined is what i1Studio is going to use to characterize your printer for the black and white styles. We'll discuss styles more as we move into the ICC profile options. So to begin the black and white profiling process, the steps are going to be similar to what we've previously done, where we're going to go through and set our printer options. So here I have our Epson Stylus Pro 7800, along with the paper size, which is automatically defaulting to 8.5 by 11. We can select either inches or millimeter. I'll leave these all at the defaults. And then once again, I'm going to go ahead and choose the paper description. In this case, we're going to leave this as luster, which is what we've been profiling throughout this video series. Now we have the option once again to either create the session or we can print the chart. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and click create the session, and we're going to save this as a black and white test chart. So we're simply going to go ahead and click on save, which now saves that file as a TIFF. Now that we've allowed test chart 1 of the black and white printer profiling to dry, we're going to go back in and complete the process. So from the home screen, once again underneath the workflow selector, we're going to select black and white print. This takes us to the main options underneath the printer, only this time rather than doing any setup, we're going to click on the load saved session option. In the saved sessions, you'll notice that I only have the one, so it's automatically highlighted. The black and white test chart, which is the same name that we've given the TIFF file we printed. And when we click OK, that will automatically populate that data and move us into the calibration mode. So the software will prompt us to rotate the dial into a 7 o'clock position and begin calibration. Once the instrument has completed calibrating, it will automatically move to the next step, prompting the user to rotate the device into the 6 o'clock position and then begin measuring page 1 of your test chart. So now, while we're measuring the first page, we're going to start the device on the white of the paper, press the button in, scroll through the patches, and end once again on the white of the paper. And we'll continue to do that through all of the rows until all columns are completely measured. Once we finish measuring all of the columns for chart 1, we're going to simply click the next option, which is then going to prompt the user to either print or to save the session for the second page or the second test chart. Chart number 2 is always going to be 2 pages. Once this completes going through a full iteration of the data we've measured, you'll see that the 2-page chart is now going to be populated. You can take a look at the various patches by clicking on these arrows at the top right-hand side of your screen. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to print this out, but first we're going to save this session. It's important here that you click on the Save Session option, otherwise the measurement data that you've saved from the first chart is not going to be retained in the session when you reload it. So go ahead and click on OK, and now we'll print out this chart and we'll move forward. So now that we've loaded our workflow session for black and white, that includes the measurement data from chart 1. We're going to move in and start measuring the data that we've saved as far as the TIFF file for chart 2. So we've loaded the saved workflow, and now we're going to go ahead and measure page 1 of chart 2, which we're going to do the exact same way that we've previously done, starting on the white of the paper, scrolling through the columns, and ending once again on the top of the paper on the white. And we're going to continue doing this until all 5 rows are measured. And then what you're going to notice at this point is once you're completed with the measurements of these 5 rows, the software screen, now that it's on the last row, will automatically take you into page 2. As you'll notice at the top of the screen, currently we're measuring page 1 of 2, measuring column 5 on page 1. This information can be helpful to just know that it's there if you ever lose track of where you're measuring. So here we're going to start the 5th row. Whoops, I may have hit that button twice. Nope. And then now we're automatically flipped over to the 2nd page. So now we're going to begin measurements on page 2, column 1 on page 2. And we're going to do this the same way that we've done with our other charts, starting on the white of the paper. So now that we've completed all of the measurements on chart 2, both pages, and all of the patches have been measured, we're going to simply click on the next file or next option, and this will take us to the final step of creating our ICC profile. With the black and white options, you're going to notice that there's some different things here that you're not going to have in a color profile, particularly the selecting of your styles. Black and white profiling with i1Studio software is going to allow you the ability to save your profiles from the same measurement data in 5 different manners. There's going to be cold tone, high contrast, sepia, standard black and white, and none. These are what we call styles. Cold tone, high contrast, and sepia are exactly what you would already imagine them to be, that you're probably very familiar with from your editing programs. Additionally, we have standard, which is the default for your black and white profile, and those are profiles that should be used on images that are color images that are converted to black and white through the use of the profile, almost like a preset that you would have in Lightroom. The additional option would be none, and none would be an option that you would use on images that are already black and white, but this will be a profile that's going to give you the best or the most optimal results in your neutrals for both of your images. So what we're going to do now is save these profiles. And just like we had before, the file name is automatically going to give the printer name, the type of the media, the date with the timestamp. So what I'm going to do for black and white is add a BW and an underscore. And I'm just going to put that this one is going to be our standard so that we can determine which profile is which at a later time. For the purpose of what I'm using this for on a Windows system, I'm going to leave this at version 2. The default is version 4. Version 4 is just a newer version of the profile through ICC specifications. If you have any type of compatibilities, it's always a good idea to check if version 2 gives you better results. So once we have that set, we're just going to click on the Save Profile option, and you'll notice that the profile generation is in progress. And once our profile has been complete, you'll see the message populate again with the profile name. So we can simply state OK. And now you'll have the green check mark showing you your profile has been created successfully. Before we exit and go home, what we're going to do now is we're going to take this same information, only this time we're going to change the style name, and we're going to just create a profile using the same measurement data from all of these test charts. We're going to create a different profile for each style. And as soon as you've changed the name of the file, so now I have BW for black and white, underscore, cold tone, and then the remainder of the file name. just simply click on the Save Profile option once again. And then you'll see your profile generation is going to be in progress. And we'll go ahead and do that for each one of the styles. And now, once again, our profile's been generated. We see the message, and we'll just simply state OK and continue through the rest of the styles. Okay, so now we have all 5 black and white profile styles created. We're going to simply click on Home, and that will take us back to the home screen of i1Studio, where we can now exit out of the program. And let's go take a look at how those profiles are going to interact with our images. So I have a picture of my daughter here open, and you'll notice it's a picture that's in color. And the easiest way that I can show you this is to go into what's called a soft proof mode. So from the Develop module in Lightroom, we're going to click on the soft proof box at the bottom left-hand side of our screen. And now that's going to allow us to select the printer profile in which we're printing with. I'm not going to actually print, but I'll show you what this is going to simulate like. And this is how the print drivers are going to interact with these images using these ICC profiles or ICM profiles. So currently we have our profile set to Adobe RGB 1998. And in soft proof, as soon as you click on the profile, you'll see the different options that you have available to you. So here's the cold tone profile that we've generated. And as soon as we click on that, you'll notice the file itself is going through a conversion. This is what that profile is going to do to that image when it sends it through the printer. And then you'll see as we scroll through these other ones, you're going to see high contrast is a different type of conversion. None is going to do no conversion at all. The reason for that is that style is meant or intended to be used with images that are already black and white. So we'll go back to that here in a moment. Then we have sepia. And then lastly, standard black and white, which is going to just give us gray tone. So now, in order to go back and show you what it looks like when we select none, I have another picture of my mother here. And as soon as I select none, you'll see that there is a slight shift and my neutrals are much more neutral. And it's going to give me much better results when I print using this output profile. So that concludes today's i1Studio lesson on black and white profiling. I hope that you found this tutorial helpful, and please make sure that you tune in to our other lessons that are available in our support videos. And I hope that you will also find those helpful as well. Make sure that you continue to use all of our wonderful profiling products and have a wonderful day.